Thank you very much for allowing us to just walk into your living room or wherever it is you are watching us from. We'd like to invite you to the top bulletin in town. Ahead tonight.
Tonight, death toll rises. The first steps towards finding peace and healing for a scarred community. And the sprinklings of grief and hope as the Kakamega primary school reopens.
Also tonight, an outpouring of tributes.
The whole continent is actually mourning with Kenyans.
Public viewing concludes, all set for state funeral service.
Plus, much anticipated meeting put on hold.
We are hoping that it's going to be convened soon, and to me it should be more of a PG as opposed to a consultative meeting.
Ruling party indefinitely postpones Friday gathering for parliamentarians.
And a mysterious fire destroys computers in county office.
Things are wrong in Kisumu.
Contractors accuse county government of foul play.
Live from Nation Center, this is NTV Tonight with Smriti Vidyarthi and Mark Masai.
Hi there, thanks very much for joining us. Joining us in sign language interpretation tonight is David Agondoa. Now, another victim of last week's stampede at the Kakamega primary school has succumbed to his injuries in hospital, raising the death toll to 50.
4 more victims were buried today in different ceremonies, even as the school reopened its doors to learners 1 week after the tragedy.
NTV's Brenda Wanga reports on the community's efforts towards healing its scars.
A week after he survived the stampede that took the lives of 14 of his schoolmates, this young man bravely makes his way to join the rest of the Kakamega Primary School fraternity on this day that they regroup after last Monday's tragedy. Scarred by the events that took the lives of 14 young boys and girls, the school community turns to the Almighty for comfort and reassurance that all will be well. The clergy retracing the last steps of the late 14 along the killer's staircase and cleansing that pathway to sorrow all the way to the classrooms where the majority of the deceased were. The same blessings offered, these prayers will be backed by counseling of the parents and pupils of the 2 grades 4 and 5 that bore the brunt of the stampede.
There's debriefing. Kila mtu alikuwa affected kivyake. Na ni heri apitie counseling ili tuweze kumleta awe kama alivyokuwa.
The school reopens as investigations into the cause of the fatal stampede are yet to be concluded in the report released. Survivors have given their version of events that fateful Monday evening.
Mwenye alikuwa na shout ni mtoto wa class 5 na huyo mtu alikuwa mahali au watoto walimuona wakianza kushout ghost, so watoto wakianza kutoroka kwa class wakasahau hata vitabu.
Watoto walikuwa wanashuka chini, mmoja akateguka mguu akaanguka chini, alafu wengine wakakuja akaanza kujitega wakianguka chini.
But even as the wait for the report continues, the challenge has been placed on the Ministry of Education to ensure that safety standards at the school are enhanced.
Kuna regulations ya ministry ya safety. Yote haiwezi fanyika siku moja, lakini kuna yale madogo ambayo tunaweza tukafanya na tukakinga majanga yasitendeke.
The children will formally resume classes on Wednesday, but as they wait to pick up from where they left off, in Kakamega, Vihiga and Nakuru counties, the families of 4 of their fallen classmates were bidding them goodbye. In Nakuru, the family of the late Simon Waweru Kuria, aged 10, eulogized him as a humble, obedient and respectful child who had his sights set on achieving his dream of becoming a military man.
Na tungeuliza tu Wizara ya Elimu ya kwamba wawe wakishughulikia madarasa yetu, kuhakikisha kwamba madarasa yetu yako sawa, kuna usalama wa wanafunzi wetu wanapokuwa pale shuleni.
In Kakamega County's Shahambi area, the remains of the late June Nahomicha are also being laid to rest. She was a grade 5 pupil at the time of her demise. In the same county, the family of the late Malkia Prudence Eliza also laid her to rest today. Another burial took place in the neighboring county of Vihiga in Senende. Family, friends and relatives gathered to witness the funeral and burial of the late Antoinette Iramwenya, who was also buried at her parents' home. So far, 10 families have already performed the final rites for their loved ones. The remaining 4 will all be buried on the 15th of this month. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
To another story we've been on for quite a few days for obvious reasons. 18 heads of state and government will be among dignitaries attending tomorrow's state memorial service for retired President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi.
Well, thousands lined up to pay their respects to Moi on the final day of public viewing at Parliament buildings. Here now is NTV's Seth Olale.
A Parliament united in honor of the late Mzee Daniel Moi. The legislators who are still on recess held a special sitting at the main chambers in honor of the late Mzee and took turns eulogizing the former president.
He mentored many upcoming leaders who ended up holding key leadership positions here at home and beyond.
He will be remembered, Mr. Speaker, for consolidating peace and stability and tranquility within the Horn of Africa and largely the East African region at a very difficult time for the region and the African continent.
The lawmakers remarkably bid farewell to the late Moi as his cortege left Parliament buildings for Lee Funeral Home. Raila Odinga arrived at Parliament buildings accompanied by his wife Ida to pay his last respects to Mzee and condole with the Moi family. Earlier, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka had led his party's leaders to pay their respects.
The whole continent is actually mourning with Kenyans. Mzee was a towering figure.
Sisi kama jamii ya Wanandi tunaangalia sasa hiyo rungu na hiyo ngozi ya mongi itapewa nani?
Kenyans started trooping to Parliament from as early as 6 a.m. on this third and final day of public viewing. The viewing of the body was extended to 6 p.m. due to the large crowds that were still waiting in line. Preparations for the memorial service at Neo Stadium are also complete, and members of the public are expected to be seated by 8 a.m. The cortege will leave Lee Funeral Home and make a brief stopover at Parliament buildings. The procession is scheduled to arrive at Nyayo Stadium at 10 a.m. for the interdenominational service that will be led by the African Inland Church. A military guard of honor will be mounted for the former commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who will also be eulogized through legendary Nyayo songs that ruled the airwaves during his time. Some of the key highlights expected in Tuesday's state memorial service at the Neo Stadium include the reading of Mzee Moi's eulogy, as well as key tributes from both local and foreign dignitaries who will include head of states. Seth Olale, NTV, Nairobi.
More than 30,000 people are expected to attend the state burial of former President Daniel Arap Moi at his Kabarak home.
On Tuesday, rehearsal of Wednesday's event will take place at the Kabarak grounds, complete with the 19-gun salute at 3 p.m. Just as a heads up, if you will be around there for no cause for alarm. Bridget Singana has more.
The tents have been erected and the seating arrangements are ongoing here at the Kabarak University grounds, with the climax being Wednesday, when the remains of the former president Daniel Moi will be brought here for his final resting.
Everything which needs to be done has been done to the standards that we demanded. And tomorrow we are going to have a final rehearsal. All teams will be here. We are going to simulate what's going to happen on Wednesday. But I can confirm that we are ready to give our former president the send-off that he deserves.
On Wednesday, those attending the burial are assured of heightened security and ease of access to and from the venue.
Because we're going to have enough officers to provide cover for people and their property. We're up to speed with the traffic. We're going to have free flow of traffic right from Nairobi all the way to Eldoret, to Kericho, and this other side. And as I said, we want our people to cooperate with security officers.
The government silencing critics that it only purposed to feed the crowds with bread and soda.
After the function, after the service is done, there will be a meal for people. People will be fed. The president was a man of the people, and he used to share whatever he had with the people. And therefore, there's a provision for that. This idea of people being petty, and running away with the stories without proper clarification, I think as a country we need to stop this nonsense.
Screens have been mounted at Afraha Stadium and Sacho, from which the public will follow the Wednesday state funeral. At the same time, the Kalenjin Council of Elders wants a monument in honor of the late president erected in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. And a section of Kajiado leaders have also donated 6 bulls and 51 goats for Wednesday's state burial as a sign of respect and to reciprocate, as they put it, the former president's kindness towards the Masai community during his time in office. Bridget Ngana, NTV.
Well, join us on NTV tomorrow from 6 in the morning as we cover the state memorial service from all angles. We'll be live in studio and on location, so do be sure that you stay with us.
To other developments of the day, the Attorney General has officially notified the Constitutional Court of his intention to reopen a case that he lost last week after a 3-judge bench ruled that the president cannot decline to appoint judges so approved by the Judicial Service Commission.
Well, the bench declared that President Uhuru Kenyatta's failure to appoint the 41 new judges was unconstitutional, a ruling the AG termed as an overly legalistic interpretation of the Constitution that did not factor in public interest. Here now is Ken Mujungu.
The notice dated the 7th of February was received by the Constitutional Division of the High Court, beating the deadline to submit an appeal. The AG and the parties concerned now await the court to fix a date for the appeal that consequently stops any move to appoint the judges as a result of the outcome of the case. The AG argues that the 3-judge bench made of Lady Justice Lydia Achode, Justices James Makau and Chacha Mwita concentrated on the law while ignoring what the public would have wanted. The bench stated that the president had no role in the selection and promotion of judges once the Judicial Service Commission concluded the process, an argument rebutted on many grounds, including that the president is not a mere rubber stamp to the process. In October last year, President Kenyatta, through an affidavit from the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, declined to appoint the 41 judges as recommended by the Judicial Service Commission, citing several reasons, among them lack of convincing justification to the need. The president also intimated that some judges on that list had questions lingering on their heads touching on their integrity. The president also noted that all those departments of the judiciary that needed more judges had actually met the required threshold, and there was no need for more against an express contrary position by the judiciary, which pushed for the hiring of more judges. The president also noted that the Chief Justice had appointed more magistrates to take care of the increased workload and that the delay did not impede dispensation of justice. Further, the process of appointment cannot be rushed since the removal of judges is an elaborate, laborious and expensive process. The case was filed in court by one Adrian Kamotho. Although the ruling concluded that President Kenyatta violated the Constitution, it did not specify the time frame within which he must approve the promotions, as the law leaves that open to his discretion. The AG's office will now serve all parties to the appeal. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
A Jubilee Party consultative meeting has been postponed for the third time. The party Secretary General says this is to give way for Kenyans to mourn the country's second president, Daniel Moi.
But as NTV senior political reporter Kennedy Mureithi now reveals, the real reason for the postponement is far from mourning Moi.
The Jubilee Party has been forced to once again call off a meeting it had convened for this Friday, the 14th of February, to iron out differences between its warring factions. It emerged that immediately word went out that the meeting would be held on Valentine's Day, Kieleweke and Tangatanga factions within the Jubilee Party started strategizing on how to control the meeting and assert their positions now that the meeting was to be chaired by Deputy President William Ruto. NTV has learned that it is President Uhuru Kenyatta who asked DP Ruto to chair the consultative meeting that was to be held at the Kenya School of Government. It would have given MPs a proper opportunity to vent and cool down the temperatures that have been rising in the party for some time now.
To me, it should be more of a PG as opposed to a consultative meeting. A PG which is under our constitution should be chaired by none other than the party leader.
Several sources indicate that the agenda for the meeting was mostly about reuniting the party and finding a common ground on the ongoing BBI rallies, which the Ruto side felt were getting out of hand. There was a possibility of running the BBI meetings through a joint secretariat that would bring together NASA affiliate parties and a section of Jubilee members, and this does not sit well with the Jubilee factions. There are also concerns that the ongoing divisions within Jubilee have become a cash cow for members within the party. The message of coming together to find common ground was a way to turn off the cash taps.
And we will be attending that meeting so that tuone wametuitia nini na pia kama mtu akona jambo akuwe na nafasi ya kusema na kunena.
In postponing the Friday meeting, the party cited the mourning of President Moi. Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju confirmed to NTV that he had received petitions from a number of members from KANU who were supposed to be part of the consultative meeting to give them more time to mourn Moi.
I believe that it was important to postpone the meeting going in line with what is happening in the country. We are in a mourning period, and it will be disrespectful to the second president of the Republic of Kenya.
There is also a line of thought that the meeting would be a recipe for changes in Parliament as the divisions within Jubilee intensify. NTV understands that these changes were to be effected in both the Senate and the National Assembly. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
Let's take you to Kisumu County, where the government there has been put on the spot following a suspicious fire that burnt a section of the Finance and Economic Planning offices in a case of suspected foul play.
Well, a group of contractors claim that it was a desperate attempt to delay payment of about 2.7 billion shillings owed to them by Governor Anyang' Nyong'o's government. Oko Okusa reports.
Well, we are not going to accept that. And today we will be the deputy governor.
What are a very, very strong and good clarification to show on how we are going to be paid.
The irate contractors stormed the county government offices located on the second floor of Prosperity House, demanding assurance from officials on the safety of their documents.
Even if you get banned all, it is just like a bank. Nobody will tell you that your money got banned. Your money got banned. You will be paid. So tell us, only one thing we want. Tell us when will we be paid.
Things are wrong in Kisumu. Things are wrong in Kisumu. Leader of majority. You know you are not a leader of majority and you are also a contractor. Yes. That's the problem we have. MCS in this county, you are also contractors.
The contractors were suspicious that the county government could use the Inferno as a scapegoat not to pay them their dues.
We are giving them 1 week maximum, 7 days. They don't pay us. We are moving to court. We are also moving to Nairobi to engage the treasury. We will even move to Uhuru Kenyatta.
But Deputy Governor Matthews Owili downplayed the fire incident, saying that a preliminary assessment showed that the server was not affected, hence no data was lost.
I wish to confirm to you and the people of Kisumu that the situation is under control and that the government functions are running normally.
The incident comes hot on the heels of investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on a 100 million shillings consultancy tender for the refurbishment of Moi Stadium, which according to EACC was awarded irregularly. Oukokusa, NTV, Kisumu.
Elsewhere, new details have now emerged on an incident where a Chinese national was caught on camera flogging a Kenyan worker.
Workers at the Shezwu restaurant in Kileleshwa, Nairobi have disputed the victim's account, saying the video recording was apparently a prank used out of context.
Meanwhile, the 4 Chinese nationals who worked at the restaurant and who were arrested yesterday will remain in custody for 3 more days pending a ruling on their bail application.
Gladys Gashanja has that fishy story.
The 4 Chinese nationals arrested Sunday by the DCI after one of them was captured on video caning a Kenyan at a Kileleshwa restaurant today had their day in court. The 4 were arraigned in the Milimani Law Courts, where the prosecution sought to detain them for 21 days pending investigations, but the defense strongly opposed the application, arguing that the charges against the accused were not strong enough to warrant such a long investigation period. The suspects include Deng Hailan, a chef at Chi Wu restaurant, who was captured assaulting their employee, Chang Yuipeng and Wu Kiang, who were arrested for reportedly holding expired visas, and Yu Ling, a cashier, arrested for holding a visitor's visa but without a work permit. The court will rule on whether to grant the prosecution's request on Thursday. At the restaurant, aggrieved Kenyans continued to voice their concerns. Beyond the whitewashed walls, the compound is silent, save for the chatter of a few employees. With Kenyans up in arms and the subsequent arrest of the owners of Chezwu restaurant, it is interesting that now the employees who work in this establishment have come out to counter the allegations made by Simon Oseko.
So he wanted money to go and buy Mogoka. So the chef told him, if you want money, why don't you go and ask from the counter, the Chinese lady will give you the money. You write them end month, they will cut you. He did not want that. So he wanted quick money. Okay, they say, okay, beat me, then give me money. Nope.
According to media reports, the restaurant's ex-employee, Simon Oseko, who was being flogged in the video, claims he had endured the beatings for 6 months while he worked at the restaurant as he was afraid of losing his job. However, according to documents seen by NTV, Simon had only worked there for 3 months and was on probation. The register shows that he had only been late to work once and had only taken days off to attend his father's funeral in December of last year. According to documents served to the restaurant by Simon's lawyers, he's not only seeking compensation for the violation of his human rights, but also for unfair dismissal. The management, however, says he was dismissed on the 2nd of February after he was captured on CCTV cameras stealing from the restaurant's coffers.
They were asking we compensate the boy 800,000. No, why will we compensate the boy 800,000? And there's nothing we've done wrong against him. Even the chef he was playing with him. I have said that was just a play. And we know this one is trying to manipulate the company.
The restaurant remains closed pending investigations by the DCI. Gladys Gashanja, NTV.
Smriti tells me it's actually She Wu restaurant, or at least should be.
I think so anyway. Chez is a French word that means at the house of, and some restaurants are called chez and then the person's name.
Story still fishy to me, or is it sushi? Anyway, on that point, we take a break here on NTV Tonight. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
New Blue Band Peanut Butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts and a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band Peanut Butter.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more. And now you can win.
Kwa majina naitwa Samuel Wajohi kutoka Nyeri County. Kazi yenye nafanya ni ya kugonga kagoto, kuweka malori. Maisha yangu imebadilika sababu yada mahali nikalipa na tiru namba. By Tuesday asubuhi nikapigiwa na Safaricom. Ikasemekana mimi nimejishindia nyumba nalipa na M-Pesa. Funguo iko kwa mkono yangu na maisha yangu imebadilika kwa saa hii. Wenye wako nyumbani ama Kenya yote mahali iko, waendelee kushiriki na lipa na M-Pesa, tutazidi kushinda.
Lipa na M-Pesa and win now. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
Birthday party.
Birthday party.
Birthday party.
Are we not invited?
We have gifts.
Malaria.
Mommy, best.
Run.
Oh, die.
Party.
Compared to an ordinary spray, Mortein Doom Power Guard kills disease causing pests instantly. Mortein Doom Power Guard.
Fit Me Foundation from Maybelline, New York. Fits your unique tone and texture. Blurs pores. Stop shine. For your most natural matte. Fit Me Matte and Poreless, only from Maybelline, New York.
What do you see on the horizon? They say how you start your decade will determine how the rest of it will be. Imagine a decade full of opportunities, investment being one of them. Do you want a place to feed your mind, body and soul? A place to unwind every day, where you can get your health and fitness goals attained? A secure place for your family? A center for quality academic goals for your kids? Or perhaps a place to connect with your friends? Well, you can get all this and more at Amani Ridge, the place of peace, just 20 kilometers from the CBD. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Selena!
Toto, where's Mommy?
Today's a toilet day.
What? Oh.
Selena!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow we're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
It's a toilet, not a white shirt. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with bleach and detergent, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible.
Challenge. Harpic 10X.
Even if you use bleach and detergent 10 times, they won't give you the same sparkling clean toilet that Harpic 10X will give you.
Wow! Harpic 10X. Harpic, Kenya's #1 toilet cleaner.
Melissa? Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
Uko na msichana wa kazi?
Niko naye, mbona unauliza?
Ndinda, unataka kuniambia unakunywa pombe kwa nyumba yangu? Toka.
You mean to say that I am suffering from postpartum depression?
Yes.
Wewe ni jina nani unashout hivyo?
Ai, sasa juko na gari sitajwe jina.
Hata sio yake.
Hata sio yake.
Karibu kutoroka uone.
Hebu toa mshipi na kiatu.
Do you want a place to feed your mind, body and soul? A secure place for your family? A center for quality academic goals for your kids? Call us today on 0790 300 300.
This might go against objectivity, which we expected to have, but this next story borders insane and it defies common sense. On Sunday, we broadcast the story of a religious sect in Nairobi that believes the tossing up in the air of a 1-month-old baby is good for the child.
Well, as you can imagine, many viewers condemned that practice, and now medical experts have weighed into the debate, saying that the practice is, and it's a no-brainer, dangerous. Halima Gongo reports.
Followers of Rabbi Church in Riruta are taking part in a ceremony
They say is aimed at initiating the 1-month-old child into the world. Pediatricians say that this kind of practice exposes the child to hazards and could threaten their internal organs.
Babies have big livers compared to their body. They have delicate internal organs, so that kind of shock could actually result in an injury or a tear to the liver.
Violently shaking a young child could also expose their brain to severe damage.
Their brains can move inside the skull, and they can result in bleeding in the brain. And this is very serious because the brain of babies is still developing. It has not reached maturity, so any damage to the brain actually will have lifelong effects.
Some children lose their hearing and vision, and they might also develop challenges in breathing following such episodes. This interferes with normal growth.
The joints of babies are quite lax. Their joint sockets are not as deep as they are in adults.
Experts advise that young children, especially infants, should be handled with care. Such children could be carried in a manner that gives them comfort and guarantees their safety. Halima Gongo, NTV.
That is difficult for anyone to watch.
Anyway, let's move on to the courts and what was coming out of the courts today. In the fight for control of murdered Dutch tycoon Todd Cohen's property has taken a new twist, with his widow Sarah Wairimo accusing 3 of his relatives of forging his will so as to disinherit her.
Wairimu, in an application filed at the Milimani High Court on Monday, wants the will to be subjected to a forensic examination and that the Director of Public Prosecution and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations prosecute Cohen's 3 relatives for alleged fraud and forgery.
3 of the late businessman's relatives, Gabriel Hannah Van Straten, Sharon Cohen and Seth Van Straten, had on the 27th of January filed an application seeking to be involved in the succession case filed by Cohen's widow.
Now, learning was interrupted at a primary school in Nambale constituency, that's in Busia County, after a nearby river broke its banks, flooding the school compound.
The floods have also exposed the school's broken down infrastructure as the rainwaters destroy the classroom walls and the school's toilets.
As the flood waters from the day's relentless rains receded, the scope of the devastation became clearer.
Birthday to you.
Pupils from Opedur Primary School forced out of their threadbare classrooms by the might of the rain waters and under the open skies. The classroom walls have deep cracks. The toilets are also broken down. Only 2 of them are in use, one for the boys and another for the girls, sparking fears of an outbreak of diseases. Teachers and parents are now worried that the classrooms may not withstand the might of the floods.
Ukiangalia udongo wenye eneo hili ni udongo ambao tumejenga katika chemichemi. Na chemichemi hii ina changamoto nyingi. Wakati wa mvua tunakuwa na mafuriko. Madarasa huvunjika. Ukiangalia choo zimeporomoka zote.
Udongo ya hapa wakati wa jua huwa inapasuka. So wakati mvua inarudi, hizo cracks maji kijaza, sasa udongo inaanza kusink.
The pupils also have to wade through the flooded roads to get to school. They are calling on the government to intervene so that normal learning resumes. Martin Mwangi, NTV.
All right, it is time for the business news now. Julian's joins us. And does Barclays Bank no longer exist? Is it fair to say that?
Well, it's a transition, change of name following the transition began in 2016, I think, because what happened is that Barclays PLC decided to offload its Africa stake. So now it's being taken over by Absa Group. So that's coming up in the business news, where we shall be delving into the details, focusing on some of these developments that have happened in the corporate scene. More after the break.
Taking pride in constructing tomorrow's skylines. adding strength to Kenya's landmarks. Presenting the power for specialized constructions. Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
Now also produced in Nakuru and Mombasa.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
To the out-of-framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Join the millions that have switched to Dettol Even Tone, now also in pomegranate fragrance, a healthier skin for an even better you. Brought to you by the Kenya Consortium of Medical and Health Professionals. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Over the years, Camry has grown to become a world-renowned medical research institution. Join us on the 10th February 2020 as we celebrate our 40th anniversary. The hallmark of the anniversary celebrations is the 10th Camry Annual Scientific and Health Conference taking place between 11th and 13th February 2020 at the Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. Camry will also have a free specialized medical camp in various counties across the country. Visit our website for more information.
It feels good, Coca-Cola and food, Monday to Sunday. We're all chasing taste. Let's just grab a bite, the excuse to drink Coca-Cola. Every single day. So we feel forever be real, together stay free whatever ends. No, we can't stop, we wanna taste the feeling. Nothing can ever bring us down. Taste the
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Indigestion and heartburn? Eno gets to work in 6 seconds and works on the 6 symptoms of heartburn so you can keep living life non-stop. Eno, fight heartburn and indigestion fast.
It is time to get down to business. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko. The High Court has dismissed an application by Wiseman Talent Ventures to bar the Capital Markets Authority from investigating the company's capital-raising efforts by way of issuing digital coins. In a ruling issued by Justice Muigai, the High Court argues that Wiseman Talent Ventures failed to establish a case of loss occasioned by the investigation being carried out by the Capital Markets Authority. The ruling further states that the intervention by the regulator is informed by the best interest of the public and its mandate of regulating the capital markets. On January 3, 2019, CMA cautioned investors against participating in any capital-raising efforts by Wiseman Talent Ventures. And across the borders, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, is eyeing free movement of people and goods between the 8 member states in a renewed push for regional integration, even as plans for the formation of a new Horn of African bloc gains momentum. Victor Kiprop takes us through the agenda of the new Executive Director, Dr. Wohen Gebeyu, and why it may not be a walk in the park for him.
Calling Kenya from Djibouti will cost you a whopping 255 shillings per minute, even though the two countries have been members of a common regional organization for more than 3 decades.
IGAD should work seriously upon the integration issue. That is the area that we lacked behind.
Ever since its foundation, conflicts in the region have left the organization largely focused on peace and security, something the new leadership is keen to change.
This is a region which have not yet endorsed about the free movement of people. Every citizen should have a right to move from one border to other without any passport or something like that.
This ambitious dream, which is expected to unlock free movement for 250 million people, just like in the East African Community region where free movement of people has largely worked, with citizens needing only a national ID to move. But the same cannot be said about goods. Meanwhile, nearly half of IGAD's membership are parties to the EAC bloc, while Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia are already closing in on a new trading bloc dubbed Horn of Africa Alliance.
If we really want to get everything right, then the bigger we are, the better. There's no point why we should have an East African community as a regional standalone economic community, and we have IGAD as a standalone regional economic community, when there is overlapping membership, for example. So we would have started by collapsing the two institutions, for example, and have a greater Horn of Africa or a greater East Africa, for example.
For me, being a member of IGAD and being a member of East African Community, it is not contradictory.
But even as the organization looks to reduce stagnation on the peace and security front and strengthen other aspects of its integration agenda, others argue that peace remains a precondition to any other form of progress.
The resolution of the decades-long disputes between Ethiopia and Eritrea was definitely a step in the right direction for the IGAD regional organization. But more efforts to resolve peace and security challenges in South Sudan and Somalia definitely have to be followed up and consolidated if the organization should keep going forward. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business, the Red Sea, Djibouti.
Many thanks, Victor. Elsewhere, banana farmers in Taita Taveta are grouping and taking advantage of economies of scale to beat the odds and increase their income. At least 250 farmers have come together through the Taita Taveta Bananas Farmers Association, planting new and superior variety of bananas like Grand Nain, William and Fire 17. The farmers, who are from Taveta, Wundanyi, Mwatate and Voi, say they have been able to increase their proceeds by about 200 shillings per bunch of bananas.
Mimi nilikuwa nakata ndizi 300 kwa mwezi. Lakini saa hii nikikata ndizi 20 bahati yangu. Hizo shamba zimeharibika.
Tumelima ndizi kwa miaka mingi. Ndizi hii inaitwa kinguruwe, kwa Kiingereza inaitwa dwarf Cavendish, na imekuwa ni ndizi ambayo tuseme tunaichukua kama ya kimila, lakini mazao yake kwa ekari moja si makubwa kama ndizi za kisasa, za mbegu za kisasa za banana tissue culture.
And at the capital markets, investors at the Nairobi Securities Exchange were unable to place buy or sell orders for Barclays Bank on Monday, following the halting of trading on the counter to allow for settlement of all outstanding transactions in light of the name change to Absa Bank Kenya PLC. Barclays Bank has officially become Absa Kenya on Monday, marking the culmination of the process which began in 2016 with Barclays PLC's announcement that it was exiting its Africa business. Absa Kenya PLC has 5.4 billion shares issued at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, with the company's market value standing at 72.5 billion shillings as of its last trading. The transition has taken place 4 months ahead of the June 2020 statutory deadline. And up next is the financial report. And that financial report takes us to the close of business. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Betika community is a movement. We started this initiative to support grassroots talent because we want to change and transform lives.
Ball imechange maisha yangu. Ball imefanya nimerudi shule, nimemaliza shule. Hope sana ball itanisaidia.
At Betika we saw the amazing talent that our youth have in football around Kenya, and we said, what are the challenges that these teams and these young people are facing? And the most immediate need for them was football kits.
Tumepata uniform safi, tutakuwa tunatumia kwa tournament, so tuko ready kupiga shughuli.
Every winning team will take home a cash prize of 200,000. They get to nominate a community project in their area. Our dream is to see our boys playing in those grand soccer stadiums across the world, and we'll be very proud when we see some of our Betika community players in such tournaments.
Inakwambia bibi kuna mdenge fulani bibi hapo na nywele refu yani. Kuna ngoko fulani bibi amemechali yake hadi So jado madonna na kutupinya mtu mbao. Mimi nimemjenga dhao. Gari ilikuwa salasa. Akaniambia nimjenge 17 na batina 30 yangu.
The way this position is tiring. Nimechoka.
Who's that? Ni shosho fulani hapa hivi.
Ati shosho.
Call for long at 1 shilling 50 cents to all networks.
Cartelo!
Dial star 544 hash to subscribe. Telkom, moving with you.
Meru County Government brings you the first ever Mount Kenya Mountain Running Championship on 22nd February 2020. Come run for a cause to fight cancer, boost environmental conservation, and promote Meru County as a tourist destination. The proceeds from this run go towards the building of the first ever Cancer Institute in Meru Level 5, which will be used to do research on cancer, create awareness, advise on preventive measures, offer diagnosis and treatment. Register to be part of the event at www.mountkenyarun.co.ke. Challenging the heights.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. Panadol Extra, now with new Optizorb technology, to fight multiple tough pains with 3 times more pain-relieving medicine in the first 30 minutes when you need it most. Seeing them support themselves makes any pain worth it. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Welcome home to Amani Ridge, the place of peace. Your own urban sanctuary. A lifestyle waiting for you just 20 kilometers from the CBD. A place to unwind and get your health and fitness goals attained. A secure place for your family. A place for your children to have fun. A place to enjoy a sundowner. Success just doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. Make the impossible possible. Invest in Amani Ridge, the place of peace. Luxury you can afford. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Your multi-bet is on its way to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. A man in a drunken rage savagely attacked his children with a panga and then committed suicide in Kitui.
The attack followed a heated argument with his wife, a confrontation the wife says happened often. Anita Nkonge with that report.
On the night of February the 3rd in Bitini village, Kitui Rural, Kimwele Kaloi allegedly came home drunk and picked a fight with his wife Jedida Kimwele. Something that Jedida says was a routine occurrence.
Alikuwa na shida na mimi. Hakuwa na shida na watoto. Alikuwa mimi nikija ndani ya nyumba ananifukuza, mimi ninaenda kulala nje. Nikilala nje mimi na asubuhi yake mimi naenda kutafuta kazi ni angalau watoto wapate chakula.
However, on the fateful night, Jedida fled to a neighbor's home after he tried to attack her, but left behind their 2 daughters. The next turn of events were not only out of a horror movie, but a mother's worst nightmare.
Akachukua panga akakatakata watoto. Vile ambao walikatakata watoto, mimi nikaja mahali ambani. Nikaenda hapo nyumbani, nilipoenda nyumbani. Watoto nikakuta tena watoto wameumia sana. Nikawachukua nikawapitisha kwa police station. Nikaandikisha, nikapeleka hospitali, nikarudi huko police station, alafu nikawaleta huko hospitali.
Mbitini OCPD John Karemi Nyamu told NTV on the phone that Kimwele vanished after attacking his children and had evaded the police for 4 days before his lifeless body was found dangling from a tree several kilometers from his homestead on the 7th of February. The minors aged 9 and 14 sustained serious head and facial injuries and were treated and discharged the following day. They are responding well to medication. Judicial revealed that she had endured an abusive marriage for years and that her late husband of 26 years had neglected the family.
Wakija wanakusanyika wanaambiwa wanakataa, anasema nimeacha.
She and her daughters have since taken refuge at a relative's residence in the outskirts of Kitui town and are appealing for help from well-wishers to enable her to take care of her children who are still in school. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
We apologize for not giving viewer discretion for that story, but hopefully that report by Anita Nkonge will be able to get some help for the family as they have appealed. You can imagine in any form, even those children, the trauma that they have faced in that particular attack and their mother over the years. If you can help, please reach out and we will connect you to the family. Now it's time for sports. Hopefully Ida Waringa has some uplifting news.
Molfix breathable surface developed with Airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I've found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Together stay free whatever ends. No, we can't stop. We wanna taste the feeling. Nothing can ever bring us down. Taste the feeling.
E-waste defines all electronics that are obsolete or are overtaken by technology. Take initiative to dispose safely. Reach us on email or the numbers on your screen.
Your multi-bet is on its way to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
Uko na msichana wa kazi?
Niko naye, mbona unauliza?
Ndinda, unataka kuniambia unakunywa pombe kwa nyumba yangu? Toka, toka, toka.
You mean to say that I am suffering from postpartum depression? Yes.
Wewe ni jina nani unashout hivyo?
Ai, sasa juko na gari sitajwe jina.
Hata sio yake. Hata sio yake.
Kutoroka uone. Kutoroka uone.
Hebu toa mshipi na kiatu.
Do you want a place to feed your mind, body and soul? A secure place for your family? A center for quality academic goals for your kids? Call us today on 0790 300 300.
NTV Sport in association with Mozart Bet. SMS NTV to 29990.
Very good evening. Time for the latest in the world of sport. Now, the Football Kenya Federation has taken the sports registrar to task at the Sports Dispute Tribunal. Registrar of Sports Rose Wasike is listed as a respondent in the petition that was reportedly filed last week. FKF and the registrar have been at qualms in the past. In December, Wasike wrote a letter to FKF President Nick Mwendwa that requested for elections to be postponed, instructions that the Federation ignored. Consequently, the tribunal and Chair John Ohaga cancelled the polls but ordered that Mwendwa remain in office until fresh elections are held. It will now be a matter of FKF versus the registrar, with help from the tribunal on interpreting sections of the Sports Act ahead of the county and national polls. And preparations continue for the Kenyan boxing team ahead of the African Olympics qualifiers that are set for February 20th through to 29th in Dakar, Senegal. The hit squad, as they are known, have been in an intense 3-session-a-day training regime in Nanyuki under the tutelage of coaches Benjamin Musa and David Munohe, amongst others. The team of 19 will eventually be trimmed to a final squad of 8 male and 5 female boxers.
Kama naendea medali ambayo medali ya kufuzu kwangu mimi itakuwa ni dhahabu. Kama hapo awali niliweza kupata kubadilishana na wewe kidogo, nilikwambia napanda daraja pole pole. Nilianza na bronze African Championships, nikakuja silver katika hii All Africa. Sasa hivi niyo mashindano ya kwenda kufuzu kwenda Olimpiki, na tarajia kupata medali ya dhahabu.
And Kenyan Premier League leaders Gor Mahia retained a top spot on the log with 44 points after round 19, despite going down 3-1 to Sofapaka. Later, Tusker would capitalize on Gor's third loss of the season to climb to second with a deficit of just 3 points. Kakamega Homeboys recorded another draw, this time with Bandari to drop to third, while the Dockers are 11th. Once troubled, Wazito seemed to be slowly bouncing back as they beat Western Stima at Narok. Despite a win over Posta Rangers at Muhoroni, relegation-threatened Chemelil Sugar still remain in the red zone. Great. And the inaugural edition of the Mount Kenya Run, which will be held in Meru County on 22nd February, has received a 2 million shilling sponsorship from the Kenya Commercial Bank. More than 3,000 athletes are expected to take part in the race, whose main aim will be to raise funds to fight cancer by establishing a Meru Cancer Institute. The theme of the 2020 event will be Challenging the Heights.
I'm sure this is the starting point. The chairman has said it's 3 years. You may succeed in putting up the cancer, and you'll definitely succeed in that. But once people start running and identify with the Meru, you will never stop them from coming to the mountains. So this may end up being a lifelong initiative that will remember our governor and the team that has put it together. As a bank, we would stand with you. We love sports. We have a number of sporting teams that we support. We have our own teams, like in those who watch rugby, soccer. We're doing that, the Safari Rally.
This project is intended to boost mountain tourism within Meru County. It is also intended to support efforts towards environmental conservation and also protection of wildlife around Mount Kenya, but principally it is supporting to raise funds to support the Meru Cancer Institute, because cancer has been the leading killer of our people in Meru.
Great, that does it for sports tonight. Much more sports tomorrow. Enjoy your viewing.
NTV Sport in association with Mozart Bet. SMS NTV to 29990.
Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
It's 2 minutes to 10, and that's where we leave it on NTV tonight. Thanks to David Agondoa, our sign language interpreter. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. We'll be back again tomorrow from 6 a.m.
That's right. The state memorial funeral or service will be live from Nyayo National Stadium. We'll be capturing that for you as you enjoy your public holiday. My name is Masai. Good night.